Hi guys, today we're going to be opening the Meltec performance exhaust system for the Mini Cooper R50. That's the side exit exhaust. Let's get into it. As we open it up, you can see it's had the standard foam packaging, so it's perfect protection. Track that over to the side. Got the resonated section here, all bubble wrapped up, thick old flange on there, see it's straight through. That down to the side, some more packaging, chuck that out of the way. Here's the rear section. It's got Meltec stamp on there and the product code. Looks really nice. It's got the hangers that go into the existing part on the rear section. It's quite weighty, but that feels fine. I've also just got the centre section getting stamped up. I mean, there's nothing to say about that, but yeah. There's hardware, some clamps, gasket. So as soon as we've got everything out, let's get into it. So you can see it's all laid out. It's pretty good packaging, other than there's a bit of expandable foam on here, so I'm going to have to get that off. But other than that, yeah, it looks all good. I do quite like the stamping, but I didn't realise that the tip was going to be so big. So we'll see how loud that's going to be. I think we should do a before and after sound test. So yeah, let's get on to it. Right, first of all, in the centre section we've got this mount that's got two rubber mounts on the original exhaust. It's 610 mils, and then there's two here that hold on the rubber mounts to the exhaust. So I'm going to remove that first. Now this bit unhooks from the rubber mounts. Just place that to the side. Make sure you don't lose any of the bolts. Right, after this bit, what you want to do is get the jack and put it to the rear muffler. And I'll see you down there. Okay, so there's two bolts on this rear silencer. You've got one here, and then there's one further up here. It's two 13 mils. One you probably need an extension for. Let's get them undone. If I had it the right way. Let's see if I can get on that one. Yeah. Can we get that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't get that one undone, but I've pushed the mount out of the way. So now, if you lower the jack down slowly. Right, the reason that we're going to lower the back end down is because the flange up the other end where it connects after the cat is actually quite difficult to access, but with it down makes it that little bit easier. So I'll see you at that end. Okay, so we've got 2 bolts up here. I'm just going to try to undo this one. They're quite rusty, so in some instances you might have to cut them off with a angle grinder. Yeah, let's go. Alright, so once you've got the original exhaust off, you need to get the rear section and front section of the Milltek exhaust system, and as you might be able to see on the rear section, you've got these hangers that are mounted to the silencer. The original rubber mounts you can use, or you can buy new ones if you want, but what I did was just cut the little sort of nipples off the ends and take the rubber mounts off. You can then literally get them, slide them on, straight on, that should be fine. And then with the sort of front section, you can do the exact same thing, cut the little ends off, take the rubber mounts, screw the rubber mounts to the plate, and then just slide them onto that front section. So I think how we're going to go about this first is, I think I'm going to stick the rear section on. Actually, no, okay, we're going to start from the front, stick the front section on, but what you kind of want to do is on your sort of downpipe, there's a flexi on the exhaust, and if you make that move too much, then you'll get a load of exhaust gases escaping from the system. So yeah, just be wary that you don't want to move it around too much. Right, let's get to it. Right, with the package comes 2 bolts, 2 nuts and 2 washers and the gasket for this end. What you really want to do is get both bolts, stick the washers on there like so. I think we're just going to slot them in there for now, but you'll see what makes it easier. So we've got both bolts in. Next, going to pull the exhaust over. Lift it up. Try align the bolts. Right, you've got to take the gasket, stick the gasket on the bolts like that. Make sure the 2 nuts are available to hand. You want to get the exhaust, try line up the bolts with the bolt holes, get them through. That's satisfying sound there. Stick the nuts on, just enough to hold it for now. As you might be able to notice, I'm lifting or resting the exhaust with my leg. Obviously, like I said, to not put too much stress on the flexi part of the exhaust. Right, okay, so just got them finger tight on there. Now next thing, we need to get these bolts in, back into the body. Let's do the closest one first. And get that one finger tight. Get one more. Finger tight on there. Wind them in a bit. the other 4, stick them on. I believe there's a torque setting for these, which will be in your Haynes manual, so if you just follow that, it's probably going to be around 20 Newton meters. Yeah, so I'll just do this. Great, now that section's done, going to move over to this back bit now. Okay, yeah, so now we're trying to do these bolts up. It's 17mm both sides. Yeah, let's just do it. Because the nuts are flange nuts, might not need to use a spanner on the other side. Yeah, you can see that it's going nice and tight without the nut spinning. Let's do them up tight. Right, so these are all good. We're going to now move down to the centre section which joins the front and rear. Right, so next bit is the middle section. It doesn't say to do this, but what I've done is got some exhaust sealant and put it on here just because I don't really trust the seal that's going to be on there. Obviously we're going to check it for leaks afterwards, but yeah, so getting one of these clamps that surprisingly look like Nicolor ones, but they still say Miltech on them. Just rest that on the top section, and then we're going to try slide this section on. What you don't want to do at this point is tighten up this clamp, because you need to work out, you might have to pull this section further down or push it further up when we put the back section on. But yeah, just make sure you've got the clamp here ready for when we get around to doing that. Oh, it's a 13mm head on this bolt, just for anyone that needs to know. Another thing as well, if you're running a low car, I wouldn't leave the clamp so it's facing down the bottom. What you want to do is just turn it up to the side, just so you've got a little bit more ground clearance. Yeah, let's move on to the back bit. Right, I think basically what we're going to have to do is install these rubber mounts first onto the car, because obviously with the factory one you had a clamping system that went on the back box, but with the Miltech one they've got the arms coming straight off which have been welded on. Makes it a little bit harder to install, but I'm sure it won't be a problem. So yeah, let's put these rubber mounts on first. These are again 10mm, I think. No, these are the 13mm nuts. So I'm just going to loosely screw them on. Get the others. Okay, cool, so now we're just going to do these up. So the problems of not having a lift. Right, so that bit's done. I am hoping that we should be able to hook the exhaust on with the mounts on. I'll try it and let's get back to you. Right, we've got the rear section on. We're just going to tighten up these clamps. Just make sure, as you'll be able to see on the exhaust clamps, there's like little slits in there. Make sure the clamp sits perfectly on there. because that's how it pulls in and pinches up onto the other bit. Right, like I said, if you've got a low car, change the position of the clamp to the side, just so you won't be smashing that as you're fucking driving along. Just be careful, make sure nothing's rattling, nothing's going to rub, nothing's going to touch, piss you off whilst you're driving along. I'm going to get this one more, these clamps done up, nice and tight. Okay, so that is the second to last step. The last step will be, we want to turn the car on, and where the gasket is, where these two clamps are, we need to feel all the way around with your hand, make sure you've got no gloves on, for any exhaust gas leaks, because otherwise, yeah, your car will sound like shit, and that's not the exhaust making that noise. Right, so I'm going to try it, feel for any gases, and yeah, I'll see you in a sec. So now the car is running, we're going to come up to the gasket here that we installed. You just feel all the way around. I can't feel anything. Oh, by the way, the car's having idling, so there's not much pressure going through it, but you'd still be able to feel. Going to feel that one. That's fine. Feel this bottom one. Yeah, that's perfect. Right. So what we're going to do is just do a couple of revs, and yeah, that'll be it. Exhaust on finally. It sounds great. I'm going to insert a clip here. Excuse the car being so dirty, but if you've got any comments or sort of ideas what I should do next to the Mini, just let me know down below. Also, I'll be having the go-kart videos coming soon. Just editing them up at the moment. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.